6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. Sorry it's been a while. It's just work for you. But hey, there's 3 things that definitely happen in this life. Death, taxes, and 3 points at the City Ground for Newcastle United. It's as simple as that, lads. We've got a great lineup tonight. Hopefully we've got a full house. I'm just waiting for Dan to turn up as well. But even all, happy Monday. Please like and share, subscribe to help the channel grow, all that rubbish. Link in the top of the corner if you want to become a member. If you become a member, you get put into a prize draw, which really helps our amazing sponsors, which we'll go through soon. Please adhere to community guidelines, keep comments respectful, and yeah. Bottom right-hand corner, if you want to do a super chat, again, all the money goes to charity and is for stuff for us to be able to put on charity shows. Good evening, Gary. Roger's in the house as well. Good to see you, Roger. Here are our sponsors. Where are you? There they are. Diacro, absolutely fantastic. 20% off using code BAZ20. And like I say, we do a $40 gift card, which I need to redraw again very, very soon. And of course, we've got football prizes, which are an amazing company. And they do bespoke prizes like this, an Eddie Howe signed shirt, but you can also win a Botman and a Joe Linton signed shirt. There's a Gaza one as well, I believe. All this will be drawn on Friday, the 15th. It closes. I think it's drawn on Saturday, sorry, but the competition shuts at 7:30 p.m. on Friday. Link is in the description to get your tickets. So please consider doing that if you can. But we're here to discuss this, obviously the amazing 3 points at the City Ground. But let's get the lads in first. Otherwise, it'll be a bit of a boring night just looking at me, wouldn't it? So here we go.
Hi, mate.
How's it going?
I'm all right.
Yes, it's good to have you back.
Oh, chopped my head off there a little bit, but that's better.
Evening, Blade. Yes, he only cost 40 million and he was the best 40 million we ever spent. In the end, obviously it took a little while. Dan's in the house as well, of course. Let's bring John in first. How's it going, John?
How you guys?
How's it going?
What a win.
It's been great when you think about it. I mean, each of these last 3 games especially, I mean, we beat Chelsea, then we beat Arsenal. Here we go again with Nottingham Forest. I thought each one of those was going to be tough. But by the time we got to Nottingham Forest, I said, no, we're going to win this one, because
we weren't wrong.
We seem to have gotten our identity back, and it feels good.
It does. Let's bring Santa in.
There he is.
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa's still enjoying his off time by drinking a lot and eating a lot.
Oh.
But he's got to get ready.
I got to get ready to come over. That's right.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly.
Good evening, lads.
Evening, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Good to see you.
Oh, it's a wavy.
Hey, Jack.
It's pink.
I see you've got your fancy polo on today.
Well, this one's from O'Hare's Pub in Ireland.
There you go.
You're getting ready for your trip, aren't you?
Yeah, just like you have a Devlin whiskey or something, right?
Yep.
So we see our name out there. We got to buy it,
Yep.
So
souvenir.
I got this.
Novelties, party tricks.
Yeah, I looked this place up in Ireland, and the guy's name that owned it was Jack O'Hare, and I said, I got to meet this guy. So then he bought me drinks. He gave me this shirt. We took pictures all over the place. It was great.
Brilliant.
Just like Newcastle, it's magic.
When you have a passport that says John O'Hare and you meet Jack O'Hare in O'Hare's Pub, I mean, it's just, I don't think it's called Kismet for a reason. So there you go.
Yeah. It was
You know
great.
what it is? There's 4 things that is definitely happening in this world: death, taxes, 3 points to the City Ground, and John going anywhere and finding someone he knows and then getting drunk with him.
Yeah.
Right, let's start off with talking about the away fans. Absolutely fantastic. Stopped off at a memorial and put on a wreath. I don't know what you guys do over in America for Memorial Day. Obviously, it's quite a big thing over here with poppies and raising money for fallen soldiers and stuff like that. So it's Remembrance Sunday is always a big thing for us, and it's just amazing to see our fans still being as respectful as they always are on the road. I don't think we ever get into trouble, do we?
No, we're always very, very good. Us very, very good fans.
Well, it's been an interesting fortnight for us. We had Halloween, then we had daylight savings time, then we had an election day, then we had Veterans Day, all in. So things are a little funny over here for the time being,
especially with who's in power. But we won't go into that.
Exactly.
That's a different conversation for a different show.
Yep.
John, have you also met Bucky?
Bucky O'Hare? No, I have not.
I'm not even going to go into the next joke. Howe's 100th league fixture as a manager. His first was in charge of Bournemouth in League 2 in January 2019. I've lost superlatives to describe Eddie Howe, and I'll always be Eddie Howe. I know you guys are the same. But to see that stat put up there and remembering how far he's come himself as a manager after he suffered a serious injury to end his career, it's just incredible, isn't it, Ian? That, he's probably the best English manager we've seen for a long time, because there hasn't been that many when you think about it.
Oh, 1,000,000%, mate. Just when you think, and I mean, when results haven't been going quite our way, and our performance has been well below average, I think, from the start of the season onwards until the last few run of games, did he have a plan B? And it goes to show he has got a plan B, because he's not afraid to put big names on the bench. Now, Willock and Joe Linton out wide has been a masterclass again, and I think it's been. I think he's reverted back to what he knows best at times, and the balance what it brings as well, because Longstaff's legs is just. I just think it's working absolutely brilliant there in the midfield. So it goes to show he has got a plan B, even though that the formation stays the same.
Yeah,
it's the personnel what makes it so much better, and when that midfield three, you need players that are very good with the football. And no disrespect to Joe Linton, I think at times he's very, very good, but it's that technical ability where I think it lacks, where things break down. But when you put him out wide and where he does his defensive roles well, he can be more aggressive out wide without being. What I'm trying to say is, when you're playing in that midfield, things are quite technical. And that's why you find you'll just get a hold of people and drag them down. Where if you're out wide, you can get away with it a little bit, and you can just be more. You can be more. What's the right word I'm looking for?
If you lose the ball, you're not losing it in a dangerous situation, are you? Potentially.
You can be more effective what he does out wide, because he covers in for his fullbacks, as you can clearly see what he does, and it just that balance at the side is absolutely fantastic. Bringing Willock back in there in that midfield three, just with his legs getting up the pitch, just allows us to take the pressure off the back four. And so, yes, Eddie Howe has got a plan B. Again, I'll repeat what I say. Just because the formation stays the same, the personnel changes what he's done. I think it's been remarkable, and that's what's changed. That's what's turned the corner a little bit for us. Because
there's also tactics in there as well, though, isn't there? Because we played possession-based football. I saw yesterday, especially in the highlights, a lot of us playing counter-attacking football, even with the same formation. It's just the way that he set us up and the way that we just looked a lot better.
I think both managers play exactly the same way, and it was like a basketball game at times yesterday, where one team would sit off, and then the space in behind that midfield three on both teams' mind was frightening. And luckily enough, we were the ones that grabbed it by the scruff of the neck, because I think decision makings as well from Nottingham Forest at times were really poor, because I thought they could have hurt us at times as well, when they were counter-attacking. But obviously we'll go into that a little bit later on. But going back to Eddie Howe, I think he's got it, mate. We all knew at times this season we were questioning because he was playing like for like. Kind of the substitutions was coming at the times where we knew they were coming. 60 minutes, 60 plus minutes. He was going like for like, and he was bringing on a player in that same formation. Now, I just think he's got everything bang on, and the results has absolutely played dividends for what he's done. And it just goes to show again, where you doubt him a little bit, he'll always come miles ahead of you.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's great to see Judy back in the chat. I've seen you for a while. I hope you're well, hon. And it's always innuendos with you, isn't it, when it comes to being in the chat? She doesn't mean to do it, but she does it. Dan, what are your thoughts on Eddie Howe as a manager? Obviously, 600 appearances as a manager.
Eddie in. I mean, I've never given up. I've never given up hope. I've never given up my belief in what Eddie's been able to do at our club. He was the first name that I thought of to replace Steve Bruce. So I'm ecstatic that he is still there. I think Ian's right. He's got the tactics spot on now. I think it's been fiddling trying to figure out how to get both Gordon and Barnes on the pitch at the same time. You know, let's be honest. We haven't had any alternatives in the striking department other than, you know, the last couple of minutes that we've seen of Asula in the last couple of games have been. There's a striker in there. And I think playing for Eddie Howe is going to pay dividends for him as well. Going back to what Ian said, you know, putting J7 out wide gives us the flexibility to put Gordon on the right hand side. But what we've also seen, as Ian pointed out, you know, Joe Linton takes a couple of defenders with him, and it allows Joe Willock to go forward. When he goes forward, then, you know, he runs into that space that Ian was just describing, and is able to grab free balls, get the second balls, it's just having Joe Willock back has been just a benefit to us. It's so much so that, you know, because he's a known quality in our side, we've been able to introduce Tonali multiple times from the bench. And I think what we've seen with Tonali, everybody's, you know, there's a whole bunch of, not to be hyperbolic, but, you know, a bunch of people complaining that, you know, he's a Rolls-Royce midfielder that we're keeping on the bench. Look at what we did with Bruno when he first came. It took 5-6 matches off the bench to get his feet, you know, under him and everything. He's shown what he can do. I think we're just trying to figure out what the best formation, what the best starting 11 is for us. I mean, as we've said in episodes past, you know, everybody's critical of Longstaff, but we can also see what Longstaff does. If you can't argue with the statistics. How many games have we won with Longstaff in the starting 11, and how many have we not won with Longstaff out of the 11? Alan Shearer said multiple times last year he was undroppable because we didn't have anybody to sub in for him. But at the same time, when he was missing, there appeared to be some glue that in our 11 that was non-functional. So he has an important role to play. We have very few injuries. I mean, when we compare it to last year, I mean, Lascelles and Botman are still to come back. Wilson still to come back. But when you look at that, when you look at everything, we've got options for the first time in 12 months. And I trust Eddie Howe to get it right. I think we should bring in a set piece expert. I don't think Tyndall's doing so hot there, but at the same time, we got a goal from a corner. So, you know, I'm not complaining.
I thought the set pieces were a little bit better yesterday, but we'll come on to that a little bit later on.
I have one substitute that I want to disagree with, and I hinted at it earlier. So yeah, let's we'll talk about that in a bit.
See, with Longstaff, right? He's the fittest midfielder we've got at that football club, and it goes to show, right, that the amount of miles he'll cover in a game, it'll be up there with the top. Now, we had a player, remember Dan Gosling, right? Yeah. He hit levels of miles in a game for Newcastle, and he even done when he went to Bournemouth, and he kept doing them. And these players are so important to a football club. Longstaff, I noticed time and time again, when that game was going deep into the more 90 minutes, he was the one that was still looking to go running beyond. He was the one that was still wanting to do the miles and still working off that football what we need. And it goes to show, I mean, we all know his abilities, we all know what he's capable of, but you can't replace hard work and miles at times where you need it. And Sean Longstaff came up 10 out of 10 again at the weekend. I thought he was fantastic.
Well, my dad was over the moon beating Forest, was telling me something about being scabs in the miner strike and coming north to work in the mines. Never heard that before. It's a long time ago, that, to be honest with you. It's probably true. John, you might know a bit more about that than I do, but or maybe not, I don't know, but it was a long time ago. John, your thoughts on Eddie Howe, though, as manager, 600 managerial appearances. It's absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
It's great. And, you know, I am so glad I do a show with you three, because we all feel the same about Eddie. We're proud of Eddie. Eddie didn't come up with that stat and showed everybody, hey, 600, you know. Someone else had to dig that up for him, because he's a humble guy. He's an intelligent guy, and he's a hardworking guy. I mean, he fits Newcastle so well. I can't say enough about him. And, you know, people are saying, oh, we always do the same thing and all that, and there's no plan B. I remember that part of the conversation. It's like, well, I don't know about that. I mean, did you see Joe Linton? He was on the left. He was on the right. He was back in midfield. He was playing some hybrid thing. He was selling programs before the game outside. And afterwards, he was helping Pope out in the goalkeeping, you know? I mean, he did everything. So he's coming up with unique strategies that fit our guys, and he's implementing them, and he's really throwing the other teams off. You know, everybody knows 4-3-3. Okay, let's prepare for that. You can't prepare for what's coming at you. I mean, we mix it up really well. And the effort of Longstaff, Joe Linton, Gordon, and Willock, the legs on those guys, I mean, they just run those other guys terribly. And the only thing we got to watch out for is you saw Gordon come out a little bit. He had to come out of the game towards the end. After 60 minutes, you got to start looking at who's tired. I know they do. I really know they do. And it's not always advantageous to pull somebody at a certain point, or you got to wait, you know, just because of the play that's going on. But I was really desperately wanting them to get Isak off. As soon as we went 3-1 up, I mean, it was like 85th minute. It's like, okay, give him a break. Give Osula the rest of the time plus the stoppage time, and maybe felt like he was on the pitch. You know, he didn't even break a sweat when he went in for.
Well, he ran on and ran off, didn't he?
Yeah, 8 to 10 seconds on the pitch, but no, it's been fun watching them. Even when we had some rough results, they were putting the effort in, so we knew that this was going to happen. I feel confident that all of us felt like these things were going to happen.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed that we're with Eddie Howe now is found, I think, the word that everyone's been missing on their lips, and I think we've all said it in a way, but it's balance. He's found the balance in the team now.
Yeah.
And he's also not, like Ian said, afraid to drop big players. Tonali done nothing wrong. Really, when he played, they can play together, but the balance wasn't quite there. Yeah. I'm always making friends on X, aren't I? Jesus Christ, that place does my head in. But balance is the main thing. And again, what he's done for us in 3 years is just beyond amazing, really. He saved us. Let's face it, he was that good. Going into the action, so obviously in the first half, we conceded. Was it a free kick, though? It was never a corner. I know that. But I don't even think it was a free kick. I thought Willock ran over and the guy just went down like a sack of crap as easily as he could have.
Absolutely.
Poor marking, though. I mean, is there anything we could have done better from the goal? Or?
For me, you've went ahead to the goal, right? But you need to go back because the refereeing decision before that was absolutely appalling.
Oh, yeah, the referees be shot. We're coming to that because I've got the picture. There's two decisions we're going to need to talk about. The elbow, and then there's that one on Sean Longstaff as well. How would one of them is not a red?
The elbow was missed completely, right? And
what's VAR doing?
Absolutely, for me, it's a yellow at least for the elbow. At least.
Tino was sat on the pitch with blood on his lip.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, the goal, the linesman has made an absolute appalling decision, by the way, because the ball comes back off. Nick Pope comes out and it comes back off. Is it a Langer?
Yeah.
Or I can't remember. It was Wood or a Langer. Anyway, it comes back off and it goes out, and it should have been a goal kick.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, if it's a goal kick, that's another terrible officiating decision. So if that becomes a goal kick, the free kick does never ever come into play. Then the officials set the stall from day one, in my opinion. What they wanted to do, and I just thought they were terrible right the way through. Right the way, I thought disgusting. And Yates should have been gone at half time. The elbow
didn't get yellow carded to the 75th minute, did he?
He's wrestled Bruno down twice, one by the neck.
Yeah.
And that the tackle, and I mean, it goes to show as well, mind, that the commentators on Sky, which Carragher and the other one were laughing and joking about, took the 75th minute or whatever from to get booked, and they were laughing and joking about it. And I mean, it was appalling. Really was. It was disgusting. And if that was the shoe was on the other foot, they would have came down on Newcastle like a ton of bricks. And Yates is renowned for getting free kicks. I get that because Bruno does it himself, but he goes around with thuggery in the game, and he should have been dealt with big style. And Anthony Taylor, I mean, that decision there, what Anthony Taylor's looking at Longstaff, how high he's on his knee there, by the way, is absolutely appalling when he's looking at it. And the commentator said Longstaff done Yates a favour by not going down. What does it take for him to go down with an ACL injury or a broken leg for him to make that red card decision when Taylor's looking straight at it? It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I agree. Anywhere we could have stopped the goal, though? I mean, was it just one of those ones where it was a good cross? I mean, he just seemed to have so much room in the middle.
Baz, to be honest, I missed the goal because I was raging. And I watched the goal, right, but I kind of go deep into what happened because I'm looking at an official where I've got past history with him because he used to referee me, right? And I'm thinking,
I don't like him.
I honestly, I don't like him at all. There's two referees. There's him from Middlesbrough, right? He's another one that started off in the Northern League. He's another one that was in the Northern League, and he used to say to me, "I've got you in the book before I even kick the football today to me." And when he's when he's looking straight at stuff and not it just, so I was raging for the goal. I was more raging where it started from rather than what we could have done better. So
yeah,
for me, I was up a height to say the least. I still, you know, I feel myself get agitated now, even thinking about the decisions. What it's so easy, in my opinion, to let the little things go, but when it's blatantly that bad in front of you, and that could have been so much worse, and things could have been prevented. That's why I get annoyed, and especially, like I say, especially when the linesmen have had past things with them. At that level, I just think decisions like that should be dealt with better.
Let's face it, we've got the best league in the world, but we've got the worst referees in the world.
Yeah, hey, I wanted to give a shout out to Dan Byrne for saying no more bullshit. He just took off and fouled Gibbs White, and it was right after one of those fouls, and it was like
it was the elbow.
Yeah, it gave us time to like really light into the ref, and you know that it was just wrong the way things were going, and he stepped up. And there are times when a foul is a good thing, and I'm proud of the guy. I know he got a yellow and he's going to be out next game, but
that's the worst thing about it.
We can deal with it. We can deal with it. But But
see, John, this is why I'm getting infuriated again, because we lose a player because of his actions of frustration, where everybody else on that football pitch, and even when you're watching that,
in the stands and on. Yep.
Everybody watched that, right? And then my reaction as soon as he elbowed him, right, I was like, Jesus effing Christ, what's he done? Right, and then the ball plays on, and you can see all of our players reacting to say, "How are you, Anthony? Have you seen that?" And then it takes Dan Burn to take them out because we were potentially going to get scored against on a counter attack.
Right.
So what's VAR doing? Right. The ball's, right. That's the thing is the ball stopped. So then VAR should be looking and going, that's dangerous play, by the way. Yep. So they can get involved when it's dangerous play. So they should look, they just cleared it straight away. And then and then Dan Burn, rightly so, should be booked for that. But in game play time, that's fair enough. But because of what's gone on, that's VAR should have looked and went, look, that's a yellow at least, or a red, because it's dangerous play. Dan Burn should have been rescinded on that yellow card, and then because that shouldn't have happened, and that breaker play shouldn't have went further on. So this is what I was explaining before. I was infuriated by that. But then when the play goes on another couple of minutes later, and then we concede, this is why I was bubbling over with another bad officiated decision where we'll get a goal kick from. It's ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there were terrible decisions.
He's from Blythe.
That's
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it just made me feel good that he took him out. It was like, let's freaking talk about this. I mean, it gave him an opportunity, and I guess Longstaff was over there, and the refs here too. You know, he was giving them the business, but no, I agree with what you said, Ian. It shouldn't come to that. It shouldn't have to come to that, and we shouldn't lose a guy. But I was proud that he just said, enough of this bull crap in this game. You know, we're not going to do this. And
he took one for the team.
He did. Yeah, he did.
And to be fair, I don't have any problems with young Kelly coming in for him.
I mean,
I think I'll be fine.
We're one injury away from a bit of a crisis now, aren't we?
We are.
I mean, is Dan Burn just out for one game?
Yeah.
Well, that's not too bad then. But Kraft's obviously broke his collarbone, hasn't he? So he's out as well. So we literally are bare bones at centre back now because of all the injuries. So
I hear Paul Dummett just signed for Wigan. I guess he's
for Wigan. Yeah, apparently his boyhood club.
Apparently,
someone put on Twitter. I was like, "What the hell is that all about?" Anyway, I thought it was a massive fee against the run of play that we went 1-0 down. I mean, some of the play that we had, we didn't really have any massive clear-cut chances in the first half. I would say half chances. Bruno's left-footed shot was a good save. Gordon had one on the edge of the box as well, didn't he? Dan Burn had a close range one, but I didn't expect him to score on his right foot, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, so it was a bit of a frustrating to go 1-0 down, but you know, the confidence was always there, wasn't it, going into the second half? And finally, it's only been over 100 corners since we last scored, and we finally put one in the back of the net from a corner. And it was just class from Isak, wasn't it, Dan? Because it was just quick thinking. He was there. He reacted the best. And that's what you expect from your star man, isn't it? It's just a coolly, calmly slotted into the corner.
It was fantastic. It was Johnny on the spot again. You know, just the ball fell to him, and he said, "I know what to do with this thing." And it was exactly what we needed. And I want to point out that Morgul Blade was saying earlier that to give the Forest fans credit, they were on Anthony Taylor's back as well. For the entire first half, because everybody could see that he wasn't up to snuff for that first half. So, well, for the whole match, but you know.
Yeah, you know,
can't we get video footage of him like David Coote's been found? Come on, let's go.
We're going to talk about at the end. So I mean, that's just disgraceful. Very quickly, go on, John.
Oh, I was going to say the first half didn't bother me. It always bothers me when we let one in, right? I think we could have defended better in the front, but it didn't bother me because I thought we were getting better chances and more time with the ball than they were in the first half. So I felt like, okay, we'll get them in the next half, and we sure did.
We did. Just want to pop this up because we haven't talked about it at all tonight. It's a 7 o'clock start. I have not loaded the right one up, but we're going to open the doors at 7, start at 8. I mean, we're doing a live show. I can't believe we're actually doing it. How stupid are we? But we've got an amazing special guest in Luke Edwards, right in the middle of a January transfer window. We can talk about behind-the-scenes stuff that he's seen and heard himself. There'll be no recording of it. There'll be no live stream of it because we want the night to be as open as possible. We want good stories, and we don't want to be doing a David Coote and ruining Luke Edwards' career. Not like he would do that anyway himself, because he's a nice down to earth bloke. So, but if you want tickets, all you've got to do is email Superfan Dan right down there. £10 per person. You can pay on the night if you want to. You've just got to give us your names because we've only got 60 spots, and we obviously can't go over that because of the size of the venue. So we need to make sure that we've got enough space for everyone to fit in. Are we over 50% yet?
Sorry, I'm looking for the mute button. No, not yet. We've been stuck at 50% now for a couple of weeks.
Has Hodge not emailed you?
Not yet.
Right, I've put Wilf on the guest list, but Hodge is going to pay for his ticket. His dad.
Yep. I think I saw that, and I thought I saw that in the X. So yep, all good.
Hopefully he.
I'll put him down.
Good. But yeah, I can't wait to do the night with you guys. It's just going to be really, really good. But yeah, second half, we go to 1-1. Our counter-attacking football was superb, and there was nothing better than that second goal for me. Actually, the third goal was just as good on the counter-attack as well, wasn't it? But the second goal, first of all, Tonali doing the work in midfield, Bruno doing work, Sean Longstaff doing work, the ball into Joe Linton from Isak out to the right wing. Now, this is the one thing that I haven't seen from Joe Linton for a very long time, is willing to take the shot on. How many times has he got in those positions and you would have played that ball down the line to Tino Livramento, or you would have played a sideways pass to someone on the edge of the box himself? But he just thought, sorry, I'll go myself, cut back inside, curled it into the far corner. Keeper was about a yard away from it. He was never getting anywhere near it. And he just stood there and took in the applause a bit, didn't he? Like nonchalant, just I do this every week. What's everyone cheering for? But it was a fantastic way to go ahead, wasn't it, John?
Left-footed.
Well, he is left-footed, isn't he? Or is he? I don't know. Is he both-footed? I've got no idea what Joe Linton is. Joe Linton's just a beast.
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, I just love that one because I like the guy so much. He's my favorite guy out there. The way he works all game, and he's something that no other team seems to have. So yeah, I love it when he gets a goal. So I knew that we were in good shape, and then of course we got the later goal too. So it was great. It's great.
I just love watching his celebration. I just love watching him celebrate because, just like the game, the goal against, was it Milan or was it PSG, where he just belted it in and then just stood there like a Cantona. It was fantastic. And then of course he runs over in front of our fans and loses his head. So. Yes, I saw Bruno singing.
And that video was brilliant. And that's the togetherness that this squad has, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But Yin, I mean, what a fabulous finish it was.
You haven't picked up on something there. It was first half, mate. And I just thought Joe Willock first half, mine was just on a different level. Yeah. I just was absolutely brilliant. And I just thought he was one of the main driving forces to keep us going on that front foot. Even when we went 1-0 down, like you said, I just never felt threatened, but it was one of them ones where you're down there and I'm thinking, God, is there a God up there? Because everything, the decision makings was going, against us a little bit time. Is there a God up there and we'll come through? But by God, we did. The goal for Joe Linton, mind, Tino Livramento's 70-yard run created the space for him to be able to go inside because he took two defenders away with him. So it was the willingness from the young lad to do that, even just to, it just goes to show that's great attitude because a lot of players wouldn't have put the yards in thinking, well, I mightn't even get that ball here. But he just was that determined to make that 70-yard run to create the space for Joe Linton, just to shift it And with him moving that, they just pulled the defenders, which just opened that side where you had one position to put it in, and it was a great finish, absolutely fantastic. And it just capped off his performance. I thought that a goal like that, and I thought after that, I just thought he was absolutely bang on. Joe Linton, really man of the match performance by.
Oh, we're coming to all that in a little bit. Actually, we'll talk about it now, to be fair. So, Joe Linton. Joe Linton is like gold dust because wherever you put him, you know he's going to do a good job. His attitude never changes in training. He's playing in different positions, so he has to do the training. I'm really pleased again with his performance. There's his heat map. I mean, I can't think of a more complete midfield performance than what Joe Linton put in yesterday. He was, like you said, man of the match, and he was absolutely superb. And he is a player that Newcastle nearly sold. It was Eddie Howe who said, no, give him a new contract. You will. Yeah. I am not losing this player. And I mean, what a turnaround in his career. I know everyone keeps on talking about it because he was pretty much a bit of a flop under Steve Bruce because we were playing him as a number 9, and he's clearly not a number 9. But left wing, right wing, in the centre, you know, beast mode is back with Joe Linton because I didn't see it at the start of the season. But beast mode is back, and that was just absolutely fabulous. And when you got your manager saying things like that about you, you know you've got a gem on your hands. And he's a one. I mean, we always talk about we can't lose Isak, we can't lose Gordon, we can't lose Joe Linton.
And we saw that last season when he was out injured. I mean, we were all talking about losing both J7 and Joe Willock at the same time was a nail in the coffin for us. And we can see having both of them back, getting them able to play together. You can see the formidability of our side when both of them are in there. But yeah, you know, 100% spot on. J7 was immense yesterday.
The first game of the season this season, Joe Linton was absolutely brilliant in that midfield 3. And you know, we went, Joe Linton's back. But after that, I think he struggled because, like I've said, when you're playing in the midfield, you've got to be very technical with your feet and how you pass the ball. And sometimes I say we haven't seen the best of Joe Linton, and I think we're all going to agree on that. But when you put him into a position like when we were pushing for the Champions League and when we were in the Champions League, he played in them positions where he was out wide, you know, and then you know you're going to get the best out of Joe Linton because he can tuck in. He can tuck in when it's needed. He can help your full back out. But for me, when he's out wide, he just looks a completely different player. And I think he finds himself more comfortable out there, to be honest. And I thought he stood out like a sore thumb at the weekend. I really do. And I just thought he was getting better and stronger. And it just looked the good old Joe Linton of old. And I thought
it was when he played that position at Hoffenheim that put him on our radar. Because he played wide left at Hoffenheim. And was a goal scoring and was a goal scoring, but he wasn't a winger. You know, as Ian said, I mean,
he was a wide left forward, wasn't he?
A wide left forward, and he takes people with him. And Ian's absolutely right. He was different level.
Absolutely brilliant.
He was.
Well,
and then we come. Oh, go on, John.
Oh, there's a couple things I want to say just based on what we've been talking about. Is like Joe Linton and Bruno both are not afraid when there's 2 guys on them. You know, they're just being pestered. They keep the ball and they move it forward and then they get rid of it to someone else on the team. It's amazing to watch both of them do that. But the other thing was what Ian said about Willock. I'm so glad that he's back to being himself. And I really hope that we can get him off the pitch at 65 minutes, 70 minutes, because he's one of those guys that gets tired and starts, you know, being prone to injury. But he was fantastic. What he does is he makes the final third work. You know, he's moving the ball. He opens up space. He's so dynamic. And both of those guys, all 3 of those guys, Bruno, Joe Linton, and Willock, they're just fantastic.
Yep. Love you, Judy. Thanks for the £10, but I'm not reading out that message. And she knows why. She told me not to read it out anyway, but everyone's trying to make me read it out. And if you want to know how Snickers is upside down, the bumpy bit's on the top, isn't it? All I can think of is get some nuts. Oh man, brilliant! Absolutely love it. Judy, get yourself to the live show in January. Right, there's a few other chances that happened in the second half. The volley.
Bruno.
I mean, Bruno's one was just before the goal, wasn't it? Before Joe Linton's goal, but
Brilliant play.
it was absolutely fantastic the way that he tried to outside of the foot curl it into the top corner, because we know he hasn't got the power. We know he doesn't get the thunderbolts that you need sometimes, but he was so clever on trying to do that. But the one that really stood out for me was Isak's volley that he put wide.
Oh God! Yeah.
What a counter-attacking display that was again.
Oh God, yeah.
When the ball found itself to Gordon, he clipped it back in. I was just like, when I saw Isak setting up to volley, I thought this is going to nestle in the bottom corner, and he put it wide. I was just like, how was he missed?
That would have been the goal of the year in terms of the setup and everything.
Yeah,
it was
counter-attacking football. But the third goal is probably better than Joe Linton's goal as a team goal, because the way we passed ourselves out of a difficult position in that bottom left-hand corner, starting off with Barnes, and it played a ball to Lewis Hall that probably wasn't there, and then it goes into Bruno. He knocks it to Barnes. Barnes does that little flick round the corner, which was a deft touch, absolutely unbelievable. Bruno gets it to Tonali. The referee, fair play to him, it's the only best decision he got in the whole game, is he played advantage, because he could have pulled it back for a free kick on Bruno, but didn't, because Tonali picked up the ball, ran at the defence. Harvey Barnes just mimied like the road runner on the outside of him. Tonali played it to him, and what Harvey Barnes does is what Harvey Barnes does best, is he gets shots off in difficult angles through the defender's legs, which puts it into the bottom corner. Now, I'm quite critical of Barnes at times, because I think he should be looking to the back post potentially, or pulling it back. But Barnes, head down, smashes it in the bottom corner. End of game. What a counter-attacking football!
I couldn't believe that one, he nutmegged the defender and he got it between the keeper and the near post.
Yeah.
The vision to see that opening and put the ball where it needed to be just was fantastic. He really is a special player.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, he's a super sub, and just when we've seen him from the start, he hasn't been as complete as he is when he comes off the bench. And maybe that's Eddie's job to fix. Maybe that's we have to figure out the right way to play him in order to get that. But when he comes on as a sub, he's magical. He can do so many things when he comes on with fresh legs against tired defenders. He really is a special player. That Barnes.
But the whole counter-attacking and how quick it was and how slick it was, we've been missing that. And we've now found, I say, got the balance, whatever it is. That was just pure football. It was just beautiful to watch.
It was, if you remember the Leicester game when Bruno...
Yeah, John knows this one very well.
my target shielded out, and then we'll play the 1-2. It broke forward, and a little bit of a deflected cross, but Bruno headed it in. It was to me, it reminded us a bit of that. It was great play, lovely little touch around the corner. And if you go back to where we had great play again, and Sean Longstaff tried to do that little dink round the corner for Isak, and he just ran away. It was just that defined touch where Harvey Barnes had that, and Longstaff didn't at the time. But it was great play, honestly. But you're on about players coming from the bench and having roles, what Harvey Barnes do, but Tonali's running as well. You're bringing a superstar off the bench, allowing you to do that and make decisions at the right time to do it. It's been a few times now where Tonali's come on and been absolutely brilliant off the bench. Yeah. Harvey Barnes he's a bit like the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Man United, in my opinion. Where other teams must fear for him coming off the bench as well, because he always seems to create, always seems to go close or score goals, which is a great weapon to have, because we've never had that from the bench from Newcastle, which I can't remember of a player that that's going to come on and potentially score goals from the bench consistently at a decent level. I don't know. But it goes to show, though, that he's either going to be knocking on Eddie Howe's door and saying, look, I want to play here week in, week out, because this is what I'm doing. Because I don't, you know, Gordon's first half performance, as much as he worked well, I didn't think he was at it at all. Me, I thought his defensive side, which he's worked hard, but going forward with the ball, I thought he lost it. He was quite weak.
Yeah.
I thought his set players were quite poor. He didn't beat the first man a lot. So, do you know, it's one of them for me where Harvey Barnes could be going, look, I need to start here. But then Eddie Howe will give, look at you, because he's a stats man. Your stats show massively greatness where you're coming off the bench and being a massive effect for us. But when you're starting, you're not quite doing it. So it's one of them. It's a great headache to have, because just because Gordon's playing for England shouldn't give him the right to start if people's knocking on the door and been doing the goods from the bench. So it's a great headache to have, and it's a great weapon to have for Newcastle. Like I've said,
it is, because even Gordon off the bench is just as frightening as seeing Barnes off the bench, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You're on about balance, mind, and I think Gordon on the right-hand side has worked better for Newcastle this season what he has from the left.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Barnes is now fighting with Willock and also with Joe Linton, isn't he? Really, not with Gordon.
But you're like, I think with obviously Joe Linton playing high left and Gordon on the right and Isak through the middle's work a treat. I just think we'll look more comfortable, we'll look more balanced and look better. But again, people's got roles to play at this football club, and look at Sean Longstaff. He's sat there on the bench for a long time, and he's come on and he's been absolutely fantastic. Would Sean Longstaff have that same effect if he came off from the bench? I don't think he would. I think he prefers to start, because I think as the game goes on, I think he gets better because he's super fit. Tonali, sometimes when he starts, hasn't been at his best, but when he's came on, he's looked absolutely brilliant. You know, and like you say, with Harvey Barnes, he starts, everybody scratches his head and thinks, Jesus Christ, we know what he can do, but he doesn't seem to do it. Comes off the bench and he's absolutely brilliant and puts the ball in the back of the net. So people's got the roles to play at this football club, and Eddie Howe's the man to do it.
And the thing is that when they're coming on as well, the game's more open. Forest were having to try and chase the game a little bit, which is perfect for Barnes and for Tonali, because they're ball-playing players. They want to be on the ball with space, and they got that. It's a great question from Judy, to be fair, and it's a tough one to answer, because if Eddie Howe doesn't win anything in the next, say, 2 to 3 to 4 years, I think that's how long he deserves to be able to try and win something. I know other people will disagree, but there could become a point where the club think we need an elite manager if Eddie Howe doesn't become an elite manager. Now, we all hope it's going to be the latter, and Eddie Howe becomes an elite manager and does an Alex Ferguson and starts to challenge Pep and in winning things. Only time will tell. So it's a question that maybe we need to revisit in 2-3 years' time and see where we're at.
My little brief thing on that is it all depends what the resources is allowed to spend in January transfer windows and summer transfer windows. Simply because if you say, I think it's disrespecting Eddie Howe by saying bring an elite manager, by the way, because I think he's one of the best. Now, because you can only
but you get labelled elite manager when you win things, don't you? Like Pep's an elite manager. Do you know what I mean?
You ain't going to win things with the squad we've got, and that's
I get that's why I was saying what I was saying.
If Eddie Howe has the resources and he doesn't, say for instance he's got, which I'm hoping that he's got quite a bit of money to spend in January, which we know he's got money left off the summer, and if he brings in quality, and then he adds again in the summer to get to a level where we can compete, and we believe that he'd be there to win things. If Eddie Howe then doesn't give up with the goods, and we don't win things if you've got an elite squad, then then he's took us as far as he can. Until now, I think he's the best fit because of the squad availability, what he's got.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. But again, it's a question you can only answer in 2, 3, 4 years' time, isn't it? Because we're still in a cup, remember? We're in a quarter-final.
Yeah.
This year could be our year, to be fair.
The only thing that concerns me
got it now. Oh, sorry, Jules. Sorry, obviously I met Jules and her husband on the Friday. I was pretty rough and ill, but I didn't want to miss it. So I went out for a couple of drinks, and now Dave's got it. Sorry, Dave.
No tongues.
No, we're just. I didn't think it was one of those viral things. I had it long enough. I didn't think it was contagious, to be fair. But there you go. Go on. Sorry, who was talking?
The only concern I have at this point right now is we are looking at an injury crisis coming. with both
potentially.
Trips and now Kraft out, we've got no alternative at right back to Tino Livramento.
Trips is going to be back after the international break.
Yeah, Trips is
Okay.
back. Apparently, Wilson's back after the international break, if you can believe that. Someone will probably get the voodoo doll out and stick a few pins in and then be out for another couple of months.
And then he goes to tie his boots, and then he's out 6 months. So no. We've talked about all the goals. We've talked about the time management. I think the thing that I wished we had seen, and it's kind of a bit of a funny, but Lewis Hall has been playing so well and done so well that he's gotten an England call up. Once we went up 3-1, wouldn't it have been nice to have seen Matt Targett introduced to at least give him some legs? The substitute that I had an issue with that I mentioned earlier was what was the point of bringing Sulu on for 10 seconds? Why didn't we bring him on in the 85th minute and giving him a run out? He was looking at 12 minutes. He could have easily been a nuisance in the box and given Isak a bit of a break because he's going to play for Sweden. So we've got no other alternative. So those are the complaints I have. Other than that, it was brilliant. But
I'll tell you why he did what he did with Isak is to give him the applause. Sure. It's the only reason. It's the only reason why he did it. And I understand the frustration for Yusula, but when it's 3-1 up, like John said, with 5 minutes to go, why don't you just throw him on? But they've also got these substitute sections, haven't they? How many players are allowed to bring on in certain times? I don't know if that got in the way of the substitution or not. I don't know.
Do we have windows now?
Yeah, there's windows, yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know what they are, though. Someone would have to explain it to me.
Well, I just worry because Isak looked like he was really getting tired. And, that's when guys get, pull up. And I just want to, just give him a break.
He looked tired in the last match. He even said. And they kept him on. It's a strange one. But again, also that's
with
going to frustrate a player as well.
Yeah. I think he's a young lad. I think he knows the situation, doesn't he? I think he knows what he's there for. He's going to take a few years before he really gets a good chance, I think. They're developing him, aren't they? That's what we keep hearing anyway. Apparently Gordon hasn't been as bad as what it looked like when he came off either. He's made it to the England camp. And it's also great news for Tino Livramento as he has been called up as well.
There you go.
Because there's been quite a lot of dropouts, to be fair.
Six today.
And then, and we've also got, obviously, Lewis Hall deserved his massive call-up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. The picture's back.
I love it.
Absolutely love it. Someone said Bruno wasn't smiling in it. They must have just caught the picture at the wrong time. Because, Jesus Christ, they like to try and pick the smallest of things, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
But
he was singing on his way in there.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Come on. That guy never gets sad. Did you hear that interview with his wife? His wife says, yeah, he's always happy. It's so annoying.
I would be always happy if I was Bruno as well, to be fair. The amount of money that he's getting, the wife, the family, the house, the cars, everything. It's just what's not to smile about.
Yeah.
How many managers actually win something in a season? It's incredibly hard to do. Ten Hag won 2-2, but it's nowhere near what Eddie has done with a disjointed underperforming squad. I agree. It's there's only 3 trophies to go for every year, unless you're in Europe, and then there's 4. There's 20 teams fighting for the Premier League. There's so many teams fighting for the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. It's difficult, but it's doable. And it will be doable the more that we invest in the squad, but that's got to happen at some point. Right, we're nearing the end of the show. Got a few more little things to pop up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Really enjoying the chat myself. It's great. Membership option there. Link is at the top of the channel. If you become a member, you get put into a prize draw to win a $40 gift card for Diet Crow using code BAZ20 for 20% off. Link is in the description. They'll also do some amazing other stuff as well, so please check them out. And our other sponsor, Football Prizes, amazing company. They do really bespoke signed shirts. I don't know how they get them all signed. I would love to know because I try and sneak a few shirts in myself. But an Eddie Howe signed shirt, Botman, Joe Linton, there's a Gaza one as well. $3.95 a ticket, only 299 tickets. So the chances of winning something are good. We've managed to win something which we're going to be raffling off in January. Took a while to win something, but we got there in the end. And don't forget January, please. We've got 30 tickets left, probably less than 30 because obviously we've got Wilf and Hodge, which I know are coming but haven't emailed yet. So there's about 28 spaces left, 28, 29. It's on the 16th of January. It's a Thursday night. It's after the game on Wednesday night and before the game on Saturday. Gives you a chance to meet John and Dan and actually have a proper chat with them rather than trying to scream and shout in a pub where we're all getting drunk together. And we've got Luke Edwards as well to tell some stories and tell us what goes on behind the scenes and what's happening in the January transfer window. It's a great chance to have a cracking night at Newcastle Benfield Football Club. Beers are cheap. I think it's £2.50 a Jaeger bomb. It's going to be a great night. We're going to end up in Newcastle afterwards. So just get yourself down and get pissed. It's as simple as that.
Baz, thank you for setting that up. And Dan, thank you for doing your part to take all the money in to try and figure out how many people we can get going and, setting up, what is it, PayPal or Venmo? Thanks for doing it.
PayPal is the easiest one simply because internationals is easy to do that. I've been doing Venmo and what's the other one? It starts with a Z, Zelle for domestic attendees. We've got 3 coming from Philadelphia. We've got a couple coming from I think Chris Rodriguez and his wife are coming over then as well. So I mean, it'll be a good show. We'll have quite a representation from the Americas again. But at the same time, it's always good crack when all of us are together. And I'm looking forward to speaking with Luke and getting to meet Luke in person. He was again, when we had him on the show earlier this year, he was such a wonderful guest. And for all the vitriol that he's gotten over the years, he was very down to earth. He was a lot of fun to speak to. Much different than I expected, and I look forward to speaking with him together again in January. My goodness, I'm tripping on my tongue today.
Yeah.
So,
no, you're right, Dan. There's always a person behind the written article, right? Yeah. And you got to get to know the person before you start throwing rocks and criticizing. So,
some of the stuff that he's had, and I'm not being funny. In the past, I've given him some crap. And he knows, because people try to derail the show by bringing up stuff that I sent like 3-4 years ago. And that was pre-takeover and the Steve Bruce stuff, and it really wound me up, some of the stuff that he said. And I obviously apologize for it and But recently, he's actually one of the most positive journalists we have in the Northeast, which is like a massive turnaround, isn't it, from what he used to be? So again, people just need to remember, he's doing a great job for us, to be fair, as a journalist. Ian, what's your thoughts on that?
On Luke or
on Luke? Yeah.
Again, I think, like, I totally agree with you. I think he's one of the most positive ones out there at the minute. I don't know why Mr. Hope's got a bit of an agenda at the minute when you cast United. I don't understand why. Mm-hmm. But
well, a lot of people say that he's one of the best ones as well, and I'm not a fan at all.
I'm not. I used to be, but I'm not a fan anymore. But I tend to stay away from journalists anyway, because I think they try and bounce off each other to try and get clicks, because obviously that's their job. Stuff. Yeah.
I don't think Luke does that though. I mean, one of the ones he called out a few articles recently saying people printing this just for clicks and stuff like that, which for him to say that and do that is quite a big thing, because you don't normally knock other people in your profession, do you?
I was just about to say it's a very brave stance to put out there when you're saying stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to meeting him in person, because obviously I've never met him before.
It's going to be interesting. Obviously, in person, we've spoke to him all through a camera, and he came across as such a lovely person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting story. I wish I'd have been on that night. You guys did a great show with him.
Really enjoyed it, to be fair. I think our shows recently have been very enjoyable. Right. let's get back to the football. The stats, absolutely fabulous, by the way. 30 touches in the opposition box on yesterday. 30 touches. I know it doesn't say that on there, but I saw the stat previous. 485 passes to 377, which is incredible. 6 shots on target, so we're back to our best in front of goal. We're 50% conversion rate when we're on target, which is fabulous. That's what wins you games, especially the tight games like we did against Arsenal. We won the 1-0 win. We took our biggest chance of the game and put it away, and it's great to see that again. 56% of the possession as well, even though our goals came from counter-attacking positions, is managing the game well. And I'll tell you the one thing I'm really impressed with about this win. It's one of the best away performances I've seen in a while, probably since Sheffield United, when we absolutely hammered them 8-0. Is that Forest have always been a dangerous team. They've only conceded 7 and 10 before yesterday. So it shows you what vein of form they were in. They dicked us at St James's Park last season.
Yep.
And Eddie Howe has learned from that, and that is why you saw that performance yesterday, because Nuno plays the same way. Eddie Howe has obviously noticed that, and he's made the corrections he needed for the team yesterday to win. So that's why this performance is right up there for me.
Monumental.
I think it could be one of the performances of the season very
Agreed.
early on.
Yeah. I have to give a shout out.
We've talked about them a lot. And there they are right there. Joelinton, Willock, Longstaff and Bruno have started together 14 times and never lost a game.
That's the stat.
I mean, we've had Joelinton haters in the chat on here. We've had Sean Longstaff haters in the chat on here. And we've defended both players. Joelinton is a monster with man-of-the-match performance. He was everywhere yesterday. We showed his pitch mark. Sean Longstaff last season was a scapegoat because of his injury that he was playing through, that we broke. We told everyone he was playing through a broken foot or toe or whatever it was of injections. He was playing with Lewis Miley next to him and Bruno, the 3 of them. There was nobody else to put in there, and they worked their socks off for us. But we are now seeing a fit fire in Sean Longstaff. But that stat just shows you why Eddie Howe's gone back to it. It's the 4 that really got us into the Champions League.
Yep.
And the balance is back, isn't it? I mean, that is a superb stat, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I mean, people don't realise how good Joe Willock is as well, by the way. What he brings. And I think there's a lot of fans out there don't appreciate how good he actually is, which is a shame. And I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of fans know exactly how good he is. And it goes to show when things are happening well, when you get that balance right and you revert back to what works. Back to, like I said, 14 times, 14 times is absolutely astonishing.
It shows how criminal it is only having 14 times with those 4 players on the pitch together, starting because of injuries.
If you look at last season, how many of them played together? It was only
That's
Bruno,
what I mean, because of the injuries.
And then when you bring in Tonali into that midfield, I mean, going forward, I think our best midfield going forward will be Bruno, Willock, and Tonali, and that when we get that right, I think it will be absolutely remarkable. I really do.
Agreed.
And I mean that left hand side with Willock in there is just, I think it's brilliant. Getting Joelinton out there where he works absolutely fantastic. And all 4 of them at the weekend were just on a different level, and that's why. I mean, I expected more from Nottingham Forest. So I'm going to be totally honest, because of how well they've been playing. But then the level what we played at times were just absolutely fantastic. Our aggression off the ball was great. Our counter attacking was brilliant, and I just thought everything worked absolutely spot on.
I mean, how much stick did I get for saying that when Joe Willock's fit, he's going to be one of our better players? And there's people in the chat saying we should sell him. Get the money while we can for him. I'm like, are you mental?
Yeah. You don't let what you do. Not let a player like Joe Willock slip through your fingers.
No, we got him.
Like, oh god,
we got him for a steal
at the right
25
time.
25 million we paid for him.
He was surplus. He was surplus to requirements at Arsenal. We got him at a snip at that time. I mean, it was, we spunked our entire budget on him
Yeah.
that summer, but we knew what kind of player he was capable of being, and unfortunately injuries have robbed us of him. But now that he's back to his best, I mean, we can all see it. I have to give a.
Do you remember he was on loan and we were beating up?
Scored 8 and 9.
Yeah, we were like,
9 and 10 or
you've
something.
got to sign him. Ashley wouldn't sign him. It's like, you got to sign him. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I have to give a shout out to my good brother Oz, my co-host on my weekly Monterey Bay show. He said something on Saturday morning at our Premier League Saturday that I had not picked up on at all, but I was surprised at the lack of supply of wood at Forest. I had never put those two things together, but the fact that we kept Chris Wood silent for the day also.
Not even a single shot on target, did he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dan?
So the fact that Nottingham Forest was short of wood was ironic, and I have to give a shout out to Oz for pointing that out.
I love it. Jesus. There's a lot of puns in there. I think Judy's got steam coming out of my ears in the chat, just waiting to jump on all of those puns, like, definitely.
So what time was it there, Dan, when you're watching the game?
It was 6 a.m. out here. Yep.
Good
like
work.
no morning wood. Oh, okay, I got it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's getting worse. Right, let's have a look at the league table after a fabulous win. And I did say to everyone not to panic because we're 12th. 12th was just a number because of how tight the league is. And look where we are after one win. We've jumped 4 spots to 8. And look how many points we are off third. 1.
Look at how
1
tight
point.
it is from
Crazy.
3 to 10.
It's incredible.
But I tell you what, that win yesterday was so important because if you add 3 points onto Nottingham Forest and move them to 22 and keep us on 15, it does look a little bit worse. And you'll have all the Eddie Howe outers, all over the shop.
Can you imagine
that win was massive?
Can you imagine how long this 2-week period would be if we'd
lost? God. If we'd lost, it would have been absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
But what a win. 1 point off third. I mean, the Chelsea-Arsenal game being a draw, I would have preferred Arsenal to win because I think they'll go on to do bigger things than Chelsea. So I would like to see Chelsea just knock down another peg because they're starting to get a bit of confidence.
Yeah, they are.
Top 5 is on, guys. Top 5 has always been on. We've always believed because we've seen the performances in defeat. We've seen how well we were playing. We knew we were going to turn a corner at some point, and we have turned that corner. And now we're staring down the barrel of 3rd, 4th. We've got West Ham. Now, beware of an injured animal.
Right.
Because West Ham can be dangerous. They've got players at Paqueta, Jared Bowen, Souček. They've got players who have hurt us in the past. So as long as we don't underestimate them, which I think Forest did to us a little bit. After they scored their first goal, I just thought they were going to go on and win the game. And if you underestimate any team in the Premier League, look at Spurs yesterday, underestimating Ipswich and getting humbled.
Yeah.
Spursy being Spurs. Or Spurs being Spursy, sorry.
Another thing, Baz, is it is so tight. So if we lose a match here in the next 3 or 4 games, everybody's got to just hold it together if we bounce down to 15 or something. It's like, don't go nuts. It's like, you put too much pressure on the players and the manager. It's like, just hold it together. Look at how tight the schedule is. The table is. Look at that.
Yeah. It's crazy. It is crazy. Thank you so much, Eddie, for that. I really appreciate it, mate.
And I've pointed out to my mate Paul, who's a lifelong Villa supporter from Birmingham. He's been on me since last season about, this is what Champions League teams do, and I said, beware, because we suffered without having the resources available to us to make the Champions League work for us. Now Villa's starting to see the same thing. So I think they're stuttering as well because they're having a hard time playing on all the fronts. So I was happy to see us jump above them. I feel bad for Ange at Spurs. Something's not right. Something's not happening for them. So
they're just not consistent.
No, not at all. So pleasure as always, lads.
Yeah, sorry, Judy, I can't because I've deleted it now. Every time I put a picture up and I'm finished with it, I delete it so I don't have to go in and delete things later on and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure there's a pun in there or something naughty in there that we've missed. I don't know if we can. Let's see if I can find it. No, 56, 17, 6, 7. No, there's nothing really naughty in there. But yes, it was a fabulous performance. The table's looking good. I always said Villa were going to struggle, and I got laughed at saying, "Oh, they won't. They've got a better squad than what we had, and they won't have as many injuries." And look what's happening. Everything I said is happening. It's crazy. But we've just got to keep concentrating on ourselves, doing what we do best. And West Ham in 2 weeks' time at home
takes care of itself.
Yeah, we've just got to put in the performance that we did yesterday, and we should beat them. But like I say, you can't underestimate anyone in this Premier League season. It's crazy. Look at Man City losing 4 in a row. Never thought that would ever happen. I know 2 of them were in the cup competitions, but it's still unbelievable. You little thief. All right, here we go. All I was going to say is that the last time I saw that many touches in the box, Dwight York. Oh my days. That stat wasn't actually on the picture. That was just a stat that I saw and remembered myself. But yeah, that's terrible, Judy. We'll very quickly finish on David Coote. He's trying to claim that it's AI and it's all made up. He has definitely said that. But can I be complete? I'm going to be completely honest on this one.
Sure, I think.
Has he done anything? Has he done anything wrong? No. All he said is that Jurgen Klopp is I'm not going to say the word, and that's it. He hasn't said that there's been match fixing or I've made decisions because I don't like him. He even said I like James Milner, who was on the touchline when he was coming on. But he said I just think Jurgen Klopp is this, and that to me, I mean, it's kind of. It happens in every workplace, doesn't it? People talk about people behind the back and they don't say nice things. Unfortunately, he's been stupid enough to put it on camera and someone's put it out there. But personally, he's done nothing wrong.
I think he's absolutely wired and I think he's been out. I think he's wired and it's been an absolute setup kind of thing.
Like it's been a while. It was during COVID. And that's how long the video has been recorded for.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
I just think he's. I don't think he's been on this planet when he's done it.
He looked pretty. He looked pretty there, to be fair. When he,
watch it back. Watch it properly.
I mean, he can't be on drugs because the referees get drug tested as well. And
really?
They'll be in his system. Yeah, they'll be in his system, and he'd lose his job for that.
Depends.
So, I don't know, but I mean, to me, he's just said something personal that he disagrees with a certain manager, but doesn't mean that he's bent, or does it?
But they can't do it, Baz. You know.
Yeah, I know. This is it. These day and age, you can't say anything without being hammered, can you?
You're right. What you're saying, right? It's the truth. We all know he is, right? But they're on good money now. These Premier League referees are professional.
Oh yeah, they're on 100 grand a year, aren't they? Is that what they get paid now? 100 grand a year.
They're the same, exactly the same as a footballer. The footballer shouldn't go out in public and say what they think because they're just going to get helped by and just say it. So you're right what you're saying. Has he done anything wrong? In my opinion, yes, because he shouldn't have done it. He should have been more professional, and especially I think the way he's conducted himself. I think he's sitting in someone's room or whatever,
house or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just the wrong environment. It just looks really, really bad. Looks so unprofessional. And if you're getting paid a lot of money, as much as his opinion's right, it should have been kept away from a camera. And I think it's influenced by something else. That's why it's been put on a camera, or he would have sent it.
Potentially.
That's my opinion on it.
It's a tough one. But it is a bit of a witch hunt. It is a bit of a social. I mean, it doesn't help that all the referees are absolutely shocking in this league as it is. Come on, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, like, bent as a 5-bob note, taking backhanders and brown envelopes and all that sort of stuff. I didn't mean it in the other way. See, this is the problem. One word is it, it can be taken in so many different ways.
That's why Matchbox 20 had a huge hit here, but it didn't go so well overseas.
Yeah. But I do feel a bit sorry for him. It is definitely. I do feel sorry for him in a little way because I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think it's a witch hunt. And now everyone's pulling up all these decisions that went against them and saying, well, this is that, and this is because of this, and that because of that. I don't think it's got anything to do with that.
Well,
he's got a personal problem with a person, hasn't he? And he's just made himself known.
I don't know. I kind of lean towards what Ian said, because you bring all this unnecessary attention to the Premier League and their officiating and all that. So it's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. And so some punishment is probably deserved.
Well, we'll see what happens with it. I just feel a little bit sorry for him.
Do you know the thing is though now? If you're going to go down the route of, if you punish him, I think his refereeing days are over.
True.
And it's simply because he's put himself out there in the limelight behind the camera. Now, if you're going to punish him, you cannot then just say, right, you're not going to officiate for the next 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. But then he's going to go back into a cauldron of fans where they'll just absolutely go down on him like a ton of bricks. And you can't. It's bad enough an official trying to do his best without. Don't get me wrong, a lot of them get stick, right? But it'll not be. I think this could go down like the Jordan Pickford road where Pickford comes at Newcastle. And it'll be every single football ground they'll go at. So I think if the punishment goes, I don't think you'll see David Coote again.
Well, what do you think? What do you think should be done then, Ian? I mean, it's almost like you could punish him, and you could say you're not gonna be in this until February, and that's if you successfully pass this, some kind of.
I'll tell you what they should do, John. They should put him on VAR duty at Anfield.
Poor God Almighty! That's
the death penalty.
That's exactly what I've just tried to explain.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him? I mean, the Premier League would probably be that stupid and go Coote on VAR at Anfield, and what kind of action that's going to. So that's just like a little example there.
It's almost like he needs counseling. It's like, wow, you really messed up here, and your only chance is if you go through this counseling successfully.
Jules is absolutely right.
That's what they've always done. When it comes to a poor referee who's had a bad game, they drop him to VAR duty for a couple of weeks, and then you'll go on some courses and you'll go out, maybe watch a few games and make decisions with the game. They'll stop it. They'll talk about it, why he did it, and that, and then they'll say, right, you're ready to get back on the pitch again. Oh, here you go. Liverpool against Man United at Old Trafford.
It wouldn't surprise me, Baz, though, that because obviously the Premier League's in the limelight again with all this Manchester City stuff. This is unwanted attention that they didn't really need. So I think what will probably happen is, I could be a million miles away here. I think they'll suspend Coote, and I think they'll suspend him, and I don't think you'll see him again. I think they'll just pay him off because that's what they'll do. And I don't, like I said, I think it's unwanted attention what the Premier League really, really didn't need at this present time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and hopefully after this international break, we'll see automated offsides. But however, I watched the Barcelona Real Sociedad game last night, and Lewandowski was given offside by his toe. Yeah. It was ridiculous decision in my eyes when I saw it. I thought it was the wrong foot. It was about 2 minutes because they had to look at it because it was that tight.
Yeah.
But there you go. But I am looking forward to automated offsides. I've been saying we needed it for months. I don't know why we haven't got it already, but it's hopefully ready to use after the international break. So I hope everyone's enjoyed the show. I've fully enjoyed this chat with these fine gentlemen on the screen. It's been an absolute ball of a show. Thanks, Judy, for all the comments as well, and everybody else who's commented. And for the £10 and $5, Eddie, I'm not going to put Judy's up because of the joke that's on it. But thank you so much for that. Yeah, we want to keep.
You know what we
doing.
do in January?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll have a little bit of a break. She doesn't fancy coming and do a little bit of stand-up comedian in between.
She should, shouldn't she? She's too shy, though. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. She's too shy. But the offer's there, Judy, if you want to come and do a little bit of one-liners while we're having our pies and peas and all that sort of stuff, that'll be fun. But don't forget, it is there. It is going to be the 16th of January. We can't wait to be doing it. And again, it only happens because you guys turn up. And it is for two amazing causes, which we haven't mentioned tonight, so I apologize, but it is for the Stanley Deaf Club, which we had pictures sent to us with the last money that we give them to their trip to Blackpool and all that sort of stuff. It was amazing. And of course, John's favorite, the Nufc Food Bank, and it's all our favorites as well. I don't really like to say we got favorites because there's so many charities we've helped by raising over £6,700 since the channel started, and given away and raised and donated and all that sort of stuff. So if you want tickets, there it is. Like I say, you don't have to pay straight away. You can pay on the night. We just need to know that you want to come, so we can put you down on the list and we don't get overcrowded. Basically, that's the idea. So,
we're playing our part again for the food bank on Saturday, aren't we?
Yes. So Saturday, we're part of the team that Wolves' Last Dance is what we're calling it, because the last time he's going to be doing a bit of I put my name, it's great. He's doing his last charity gig. It's going to be a few YouTubers. Adam Pearson's going to be there. There's going to be Josh Talks. Steve from Nufc Matters is going to be there as well. For some stupid reason, Hodge has made me captain of the team. So good luck, everyone. I've already got formations in my head and stuff that I expect everyone to be doing. And we have emailed the venue, which is the Newcastle Foundation, and we're trying to be able to stream the game live. And we'll have a donation link up for people to donate straight to the charity. So, tune in. Hopefully, there'll be 12 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, as long as we get the go-ahead to stream it. We're just waiting for an answer. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We won't be live for a little while now because obviously we're just doing Newcastle stuff. There is a Premier League show I might do. We'll see what else we can throw in the mix. But I will be tomorrow. I'm doing a recording with a gentleman. I forget. Oh God, I'm terrible with names. He's got a great podcast. I'm just going to find it and tell you all about it, because a Project Football podcast on Twitter. He's done like 69 shows. Go and check them out. I'm going to be doing one with them, going to be answering questions like picking a side between the 1960s to 2000s. Very hard to do. 2 players from each era. Found it very difficult. I hope everyone agrees with my team. But things about like what music you like playing before St James's Park. The best question is, which I'm going to use myself for you guys in the future, is you got to pick 5 matches for Newcastle, 1, a Newcastle game, but the opposition, and you've got to say who you would like to have the viewpoint of and why. So that's a really interesting question. So I'm going to be answering all that tomorrow night, and then you'll release it, and I'll let you know when to release it. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evening, guys, and we'll see you again very, very soon.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!